arms today. Ava Brown will get the start. Alicia, the freshman from Montgomery, Texas.
And Ava Brown's so deceptive. She's going to throw 3 speed. She can get it up there to the mid-60s, 66, but she's going to throw an off-speed, and her changeup is also really deceptive down.
Ava Brown pitched 2 really big innings on Monday night to help silence the LSU bats en route to winning 2 of 3. We get set to get underway. Brown is ready. Alexa Galligani is ready. First pitch is a little bit low, and we are underway right on time. 6:02 p.m. Eastern. Jeremy Otter leading things back at our control room. Alicia Ocasio, I'm Kyle Crooks. So glad that you can join us here in this midweek matchup. Galligani floats this out to shallow left. Second pitch hack. Otis is there for the opening out here on this Wednesday. Take a look at South Florida offensively, a team hitting just .247, but they're coming off a sweep of Memphis. You see Olivia Elliott, who steps to the plate and a big series against Memphis. The extra base hits picking up a tad over the weekend. They enter at 7-8 in the American Athletic Conference. Gators, after winning 2 of 3 against LSU, not just their 4th consecutive SEC series victory, but they're now 9-3, just a game back of Tennessee at the top of the SEC standings.
It's easy to look at Memphis and say, you know, they're at the bottom of the AAC. They should beat them, but when you look at the run production, they scored 31 runs over the course of those 3 games. And to put it in perspective for you, they scored 36 in all the other games before that weekend in conference.
1-1 is pop foul by Olivia Elliott, formerly of UCF. Gators defensively, usual suspects, some changes. You have Otis Falvey Kistler left to right. Third to first, Walsh back in. 1-2 to Elliott, slammed in the air to center. Falvey is as good as it gets out in center field. Boy, what a big weekend she had against LSU. A couple of catches, banging up against the wall in center field. The amount of space and real estate that she covers, as well as the balance that she provides at the top of this lineup. She's an all-star.
Yeah, and we spoke about her in the open. I called her a menace. Whatever she does, she's great at it. I mean, the anticipation that I felt watching that ball potentially get robbed was fun to see.
Bailey Tripola, third Division I stop, formerly of Pittsburgh and Akron, stands in. See her numbers, 310, couple of homers. Aggressive approach early here from South Florida. They're looking for a possible big resume-boosting win. They lost to the Gators earlier this year. That was on February 11th. These two teams always play opening weekend down in Tampa. Gators won 12-3. That game did go a full 7 innings. The 0-2 is out, ball 1.
I think the key to beating the Gators, or even being eye to eye with them, is to not give up so many free bases. There were 5 times that USF made errors, hit by pitches and balls.
Line right to Reagan Walsh. So quick work for Ava Brown in the top half of the first inning. 1, 2, and 3 go down in order. It's the Bulls nothing. Gators coming up. You come back.
Winter sports, more than sports.
Here's Reagan Walsh. She is highlighted in that 5 spot. Season high 7-game hit streak, 4 extra base hits during that span, and a big home run in game 1 against LSU. Brooke Bernard in the 9 spot. That's really the lone big change from what we're used to in the Gator lineup. Meanwhile, Alicia, will be Peyton Dixon, their ace, who gets the call for USF.
Peyton Dixon is going to give you a little bit of a different look on the left side, throwing in the mid-60s, curve to both sides of the plate, just mixing it really well. And we talked to Coach Carla Claudio on USF, and she said that Peyton Dixon is just fearless and wanting to go inside, mix her pitches, her backdoor curve, her regular curve, and jam these hitters.
The big triple she had in the 6th inning. It was a 4-run 6. Gators are down 5-1. Entering the frame. And this lineup continues to put fear in just about every team that they face, especially in the late innings. A couple of stand-in extra base hits for Falvey. You don't see that often. Count even at 2-2.
I think that's what's so beautiful about having so many tools on the left side. You're able to stand in and also slap.
Does have 3 career home runs. Whacks this on a line, left field, tailing, and this will be another extra base hit. Kendra Falvey cruises into second with a leadoff double. All of a sudden, Kendra Falby is Barry Bonds, stand in and slug.
We saw the hits that she had just standing in, but here, just taking this ball on the opposite side of the plate, driving it over the left fielder's head. And I mean, we've seen this Kendra Falby before. Right now, just
whole different aspect now to this lineup. Versatility that Kendra Falby provides at the top, along with the speed that is present in the top two. Here's Skylar Wallace, who walked it off in an odd way, I'd say, on Monday night. Not what she had in mind and not what the average fan would expect, but Skylar Wallace at the plate, the winning run 60 feet away. She swung and missed at a ball in the dirt, and her hustle to first base on an overthrow, dropped third strike, brought in the game-winning run. Right now scuffling a little bit to start the month of April. It's the same to start the month of March, but she picked it up in a big way. You see, even with some of the scuffling, 443 leads the SEC in batting average.
And how scary is that? I mean, you look at the top 5 in batting average leaders, and you see 4 Gatorheads at the very top. So when you talk about fear and an intimidation factor, it's definitely there for the Florida Gators.
She has reached in 15 straight. There's 2 of 13 to start the month of April. But again, still leads in on base, runs scored per game, batting average, stolen bases, triples in the SEC. 2-2 off the inner half, count full. You like these uniforms, Alicia? Debut of the all-black unis. You weren't a fan of the black unis when you played. They are different.
You know, they are a little bit different. I don't think I've ever seen the Gators in a full black uni. I mean, you have some white accents in there, but midnight black.
Payoff is popped up along first. There's a tribal piece, runs into Wallace, and the ball is dropped. Something probably is going to be called on Wallace here. It's going to be runner interference as she bumped tribal piece running on by. Ken Erickson came out to argue right away, but that call was overturned quickly by James Colsey. Not sure if there was ever an initial call made until James Colsey eventually made one. And well, Skylar Wallace, she's running in the baseline, so she didn't necessarily step out of the baseline to make contact with first.
Make that play, so a good call by the umpire. First out of the inning.
That'll go down as a 3 unassisted scoring at home. I'm sure there's somebody that's scoring at home. Got to help them out. Brings in Corby Otis, who's been ultra consistent, say the least. Hitting over 430. Takes a changeup strike from Dixon, 0-1.
All the time that I've watched Corby Otis, she hits good balls great, but I've noticed she takes a lot of bad balls and just drives them, stays behind them, does a really great job of staying in her legs.
Otis uncorks on a ball down the left field line, well foul. Here are the Bulls defensively. Galligani in left, Cadlub in center, Olivia Elliott in right, Brooks Rivera Garcia Soto at second. Marissa Tribal makes the grab for out number 2.
Said it earlier, but Peyton Dixon just jamming Skylar Wallace and Corby Otis on the last 2 at-bats. We spoke about her fearlessness on the mound, wanting to set batters up to try to do that, and she succeeds. Numbers 2 and 3 batters.
Brings in now Jocelyn Erickson, who's had a credible season so far. 416, 51 RBI. With the table setters in front of her, has had more than her fair share of opportunity to drive in runs. And a count 1-1. You look up and down, at least the first 5 of this lineup, Alicia, you can say, okay, this person leads the SEC in this. The 2-hitter leads in this. The 3-hitter leads in this.
Yeah, and I was doing my research before the game about the stats that they have leading in the SEC. When you have Kendra Falby leading in hits, then you have Corby Otis and Skylar Wallace leading in on-base percentage. But then you look at Jocelyn Erickson, I mean,
yanks this in the air to right field. Elliott goes back, has room in front of the warning track. So after that leadoff double, Peyton Dixon sits down 2, 3, and 4 in order. Falvey's double fails to bloom. She's left on. No runs in the inning for the Orange and Blue, scoreless through 1. Up in Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. Takes an off-speed strike. Last year had a career season. Second team all. Tough sledding this year in terms of the batting average. You see just over 200. They're making some adjustments with her in the box. Yanks this to second, and Williams had an error on Monday night against LSU. This one right between the wickets.
I think sometimes we make errors and we don't get our feet set. We try to look up before we have possession of that ball. Tribal Peace just yanks this inside pitch. Mia gets her feet set, but kind of slams her glove down in a different place than the ball is. Gets away from her a little bit.
She's in that flex position tonight, so not in the batting order, but just playing defensively at second. And they like that middle infield tandem between Wallace and Williams. Here's Alana Rivera. We talked about her at the top. Team's leader in a lot of different offensive categories. Eyes a strike from Brown. Alicia talked about she's coming off an injury. That was during a tryout for the Puerto Rican national team. Expecting her to come back in about a year and a half. Came back a lot sooner. Racks this in the air to center. Falvey back lanes. Oh, she's got it. Another sparkling gem. Falvey on the long throw. Bernard could not hold on to it, or else that would have been a double play on a throw from the warning track.
Wow. Such athleticism from Kenja Falvey. We talk about her hitting, but look at her in the outfield just tracking this ball down. So athletic to grab it up in the air, but the throw, I mean, such a heads-up play, throwing it back to first base. But just miss on the mark.
Brings in Ryan Eigenman. That's another part of her game that doesn't necessarily get talked about a lot, but she has a plus arm out in center field, and a very accurate one at that, as you just saw. She is one of those outfielders, as third base coach, that's a red light outfielder. If you're trying to round third and think about sending or stopping,
Just don't.
you don't when Kendra Falvey has it.
Just don't.
Eigenman lines this to center field, base hit. Falvey over to cut it off on a slide. First and second for the Bulls here with one out. And that's the Bulls' first hit.
And a good job by Eigenman going after Ava Brown early right now so that she doesn't try to deceive you late in the count. We talked about her different speeds. That rise ball, that screw, change up off speed. A really good job by Eigenman just staying through this one, not trying to do too much and driving it back up the middle.
Sam Walls is now pinch running at second base. Runs at a premium, of course, against Ava Brown, so Ken Erickson will go to the lineup card early in pinch run for Marissa Trivalpiece. Brings in Dania Brooks. First start at third tonight since March 24th. Some changes in Ken Erickson's lineup. Takes strike one.
A lot of times you'll see coaches wait till the runner is in scoring position to make that change so that you don't waste a substitution.
Brooks lines this over Wallace. Walls had to hold up as it's fielded by Otis. Quickly gets it in. Back-to-back base hits against Brown, and the Bulls have them loaded here in the second. As Chelsea Dobbins will make an early trek out to the circle, first-year pitching coach. What are you seeing here early from Ava Brown? Maybe too much of the plate here in these last two batters.
Well, I just love the aggression from the Bulls right now. They're going after Ava early, see ball, hit the ball, sticking to their plan and doing a really good job at just staying behind it. I mean, these balls are near the middle of the field, so that just tells me that they're doing a good job at just trying to pepper the ball, not try to do too much. That's what Coach Erickson likes to do.
First year for Chelsea Dobbins as the pitching coach. 8 seasons at the University of North Carolina. Was there since 2015. And what a job she has done with the bulk of this pitching staff is 3 freshman arms and a grad transfer. The 2 big arms being Keegan Rothrock and Ava Brown. So she has dealt with primarily a freshman rotation and pitched to an ERA under 2, which is 14th best in the country. Kathy Garcia Soto now with the bases loaded, infield in, just 1 out. First toss, high and away.
When you come in as a coach, it's almost like coming in with a clean slate when you have those 3 freshmen in transfer and no vet pitchers to work with. She's done a great job this far. I think this Florida staff has to limit those free passes and those walks, as we saw this weekend with Rothrock giving up that leadoff walk, turned into a run for the LSU Tigers.
Sophomore Kathy Garcia Soto swings away and misses on 2-0. One of your teammates of the Puerto Rican national team, one of the more loudest players on this group. Super energetic.
Yeah, and that's what I love about her. I mean, she's always bringing the energy. She's always bringing excitement. But right now you can see how intense she is. She's also determined. And one thing that's so special about her is that she's a switch hitter.
Caught on a miss, goes down on strike, so Brown picks up a big strikeout, her first K of her start after back-to-back singles.
Man, this is such a big strikeout by Ava Brown, throwing that changeup through the middle of the zone. Kathy Garcia just cannot get behind it in a big...
9 batter Jordan Cadlub swings through strike 1. Changeup seems to be that go-to out pitch for Ava Brown. See Cadlub's numbers. The 0-1 bounces in. Nice stop by Erickson. So an E4 started the inning. And after a fly out to center, it's been single, and now a strikeout. So 2 gone, and the Bulls trying to capitalize in the second. This might do it. Fly ball out to center field. Can of corn for Kendra Fulby. Made another sparkling play in this ball game, slamming into the wall, almost had a double play. Bulls leave them loaded. No score, middle of 2.
Winter Sports, more than...
Tonight would make some news. Florida's won the last 27 meetings between these two, lead the all-time series 61-12. The last win for South Florida over the Gators. You have to go back to the regional in 2012. That year, the Bulls went on to a World Series under Ken Erickson. So Tim Walton has had a lot of success against this program and a lot of in-state teams. Gators will have Florida State coming up in 2 midweeks towards the end of the year. Reagan Walsh leads it off against Peyton. Pretty solid, Alicia, after giving up that leadoff double from Kendra Fulby after the fact, sitting down Wallace, Otis, and Erickson in order for Dixon.
Yeah, I thought that was a great outing by her in the first inning. When you have stat leaders like Skylar Wallace and Corby Otis, and you're able to just jam them. So tough hitting a lefty pitcher who just zips that curveball across the plate.
Walsh zips a ball foul. You want to talk about red hot right now? That's Reagan Walsh.
Right? 3rd in the SEC with home runs. I feel like she flies under the radar sometimes, but has a lot of production for this Florida Gators softball team.
Part of this lineup lengthening out a bit in terms of its production. 2-1 on its way is pop foul behind home. 3rd in home runs, 3rd in slugging in the SEC. He's already put up career numbers. Home runs, 13 this year, 46 RBI. It was all a confidence issue. Talk to any of the coaches on the Florida staff. Has a different swagger about her this year. Reaches for this on the off speed to Garcia Soto. 1 up, 1 down.
We talk about Peyton Dixon and her curveball zipping through the plate, but that changeup just falling off the table. Reagan Walsh just can't get enough behind it to get it through the infield.
Brings in Bailey Goddard. And that hitter. Well, that's familiar territory for Bailey Goddard. That in her career is the 46th time she's been hit. That ties Bailey Castro for 5th most in program history.
Good thing she has all that armor on, that Evo shield to protect her.
And here's now Katie Kistler. Look at South Florida the years after Georgina Corrick trying to find that stabilization inside their staff. Georgina Corrick, not just one of the best pitchers in South Florida history, but in recent memory, one of the best pitchers in the country. Electric stuff. Pitched the majority of the innings in conference play in big games like this. And they found a pretty good top two with Peyton Dixon and Belle Sarja. Dixon, the reigning American Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Week.
What I loved about, I don't love to face Georgina Corrick, but I think what makes her so great, one, she hits her spots phenomenally, but she also has an X factor about her on the mound. Like, she doesn't care. She just slings that thing and gets it to where it needs to go, but also with dominant spin. And she still does that at the pro level.
I remember in a regional, I think it was 2022, might have been 2021, but it was a 1-0 Gator win. Georgina Corrick had pitched that one, and there were a lot of nail-biters when Corrick came into this ballpark, especially in the postseason. And Dixon taking that mantle as the ace, over 225 career innings, at a 1.4 ERA in her career. Dealt with injuries last year, missed 5 weeks in conference play with an upper body injury. Ball 3 to Kistler. Biggest win this year for USF. They came opening weekend against Michigan, a team that the Gators lost to twice. Payoff is golfed in the air. And foul right. Tribal Piece makes the catch, and Kistler's retired. Second out of the inning brings in Ava Brown.
And Kistler just tried to get under that one a little bit too much. We talk about pitchers in this game. I think Peyton Dixon also has that X factor when she steps on the mound. She just has such a veteran poise about her. And such great composure. You never know what a pitcher's thinking when they don't show their emotion. I like to call that a poker face.
And just a good, vast repertoire with that backdoor curve, change, rise. Another off speed. Wanders in for strike 2. Brown quickly down in the count. Dixon only pitched a third of an inning against Florida on February 11th. Allowed an earned run, getting just 1 out. And down on 3 pitches is Ava Brown. Peyton Dixon is rolling. Works around a 1-out hit by pitch. Bowles right in this one. Trying to make some news in college softball. No score through 2. A little bit of humidity in the air here in Gainesville. As leading off here, Alexa Galligani, top of the Bulls lineup. This is the 5th black jersey in team history. Got that note from Gators Uniform Tracker on Twitter. As time is called. There's a loose towel, I think, on the warning track in the right field corner. Katie Kistler doing some maintenance over there.
And gave Coach Erickson.
Oh, pom-pom.
Yeah.
Young fan.
Love when little fans come to support the Gators. Seeing these Gators on the field, knowing that she can also be on the field with them. Puts her mind to it one day. And I love the uniform. She came prepared with the pom-poms and the uniform. Makes me think we need some cheerleaders at the softball field instead of basketball.
The 0-2 outside. I saw a fan in the LSU series brought the glove to the ballpark, and would you know it, made a catch on a foul ball using the glove, because you just never know. Brown has 1 K already. This is a waste pitch in the dirt, 2-2.
And back to the uniforms, Kyle. We haven't seen a lot of black unis, like you said, this being the 5th one. I had one in my career, but had a little bit of blue in it. Love to see them mix up.
2-2, looping liner in front of Otis into left. Gallegani gives the Bulls their third hit. They're seeing it really well right now. Leadoff base knock. That's the second consecutive leadoff base runner for USF.
Last inning gave the Gators a run for their money with the bases loaded.
Brings in now Olivia Elliott, former UCF Knight. Strike one.
I'm surprised they're not going to a sacrifice bunt just to get a run across right now.
Elliott does have 4 successful sacrifices this year. Right now, you look at it, the heart of their order coming up here. Reagan Walsh, nice diving stop on the line drive, throws to first. Not in time, almost getting the double play on a smoke line drive along third.
And that is why we call it the hot corner. Elliott just driving this pitch, and Reagan so athletic, going over her shoulder to make that backhand grab. Really heads up play by trying to go back to first for the pickoff. Unsuccessful, but a really great out for the Florida Gators.
Here's Bailey Drapola. Walsh making that adjustment from second to third, so much closer to home plate defensively this year as opposed to last, with Mia Williams coming in this year as a freshman, taking over the everyday second base spot. Lasered foul, quickly 0-2.
We've typically seen Ariel Kowalewski over at third base. Hasn't had a ton of production in conference. Coach Walton making that switch, putting Reagan Walsh at 3. Like you said, that alignment with Mia Williams at second base and Skylar Wallace in the middle infield.
Bailey Drapola started her career at Akron and went to Pitt, a senior from Brookfield, Ohio. 1-2, almost got her. Count even now. 3 years at Pitt. Known for her patient approach. Led Pitt in walks last year. Right past the originator into center. Falvey's got it. Station is station for Gallegani, and again, a little rally mounting here for USF. It's already their 4th hit.
And what I love about this team right now is they're just piecing up the ball, keeping it easy. Japola right here gets in her back leg to drive.
Is it just a case of they're comfortable? Ava Brown is hitting too much of the plate. What are you seeing so far from Ava Brown, and why South Florida's had so much success?
Well, I think that pitch was a little bit too much over the plate, but when you talk about USF and what they just did this past weekend, how many runs they've scored, you got to talk about their confidence and the momentum that they have coming into this game.
Marissa Tribal Piece swings through strike one on the off speed. They scored 12 runs in game 1, 10 in game 2, 9 in game 3 against Memphis.
That's hard to do for one game, but when you talk about how many runs that they scored, 3 consecutive games, you got to feel good stepping into the box knowing you just dominated another team in your conference.
That was their first series victory within American Athletic Conference play. They had a similar pattern in their previous series of winning game 1 and losing games 2 and 3. Big 1-2. Arch in the air, left field. Otis was first step in. Sachet's back for the second out. Well, you can't talk about South Florida without talking about the head man. That is Ken Erickson. Almost 3 decades as head coach, over 1,000 wins. Former head coach of Team USA. 15 NCAA tournaments. Went to the World Series in 2012. The winningest coach in South Florida history. That goes for all sports. Snap toss. Erickson caught the runner napping, and that's the final out That cannon from Jocelyn Erickson got Tripolo at first and ends any further threat. Jocelyn Erickson, Alicia, is a weapon behind home plate. It's the Tigers to put the Gators up 1, and then LSU came back to score a lone run in the 7th, eventually going on to win in extras. Bernard pops this up to short.
When you do what you're supposed to do, have a good at-bat, in pinch hit opportunities and earn those at-bats. I mean, that's what happens. You see Brooke Bernard today with her first start at first base because she earned those at-bats by coming out and doing her job in the box.
Here's Kendra Falvey, who's turned into a slugger. Last 3 hits, triple, double, double. Doubled in the first to the left field corner. She's seeing it like a beach ball right now. Dixon's 0-1. Found this out today, too. Kendra Falvey is in charge of picking the uniform combinations for every single game. That started last year. Tim Malton likes Kendra's fashion sense.
Said she has swag.
1-1 is popped up. Who's got this one? And it's Sania Brooks coming down from third.
That's a tough play to make. That ball sky high. Having to get under it, find it. Not a lot of wind today, but when that ball is bright yellow and the sky's pretty bright, it's hard to get under.
And the Gators coming off that excitement of Monday night. Perhaps taking a little bit longer to get going, and I also give credit to Peyton Dixon. She's put up great numbers this year, and she's a great pitcher coming from the left side, and the Gators is taking a little bit to adjust.
You've got to tip your cap to her this far. I mean, she's popped people up with her curveball, got people to swing over her changeup to roll over and get a ground ball. I mean, when you have tools and you're just fearless and you're able to facilitate those pitches and have confidence in them, it just changes the trajectory of who you are on the mound.
Pitched to just under a 2 ERA last year. Wallace goes down on strikes. Peyton Dixon is dealing. 9, 1, and 2 go down to 1, 2, 3. First time she's faced this Gator order and sat them down in order. Still no score. Lana Rivera will lead off. Ryan Eigenman, Dania Brooks. Ball 1.
And that's the name of the game. I mean, people are going to get hits. People are going to get walked. Might even hit a batter, but to have the mental toughness to be able to get out of a jam, especially as a freshman with the help of a strong arm behind the plate in Jocelyn Erickson.
Came into the day, Erickson, having thrown out 10 base runners. Look at the latest Softball America rankings. They rank each position. She is the top-ranked catcher in the country. Boy, that's a big loss for Oklahoma. Imagine putting her in that lineup with her bat, and that arm behind home plate just completely eliminates the run game.
People scared over at first base.
Strike 2. Another change-up from Ava Brown.
And I'll tell you, as a pitcher, having a catcher who's so sure-handed, has a great glove, makes the world of a difference when you're trying to throw through the zone, especially to frame pitches.
Whacked on a line, left center. Falvey is over there in plenty of time. Falvey the flash. Has all that speed. It's hard to get one in the gap. Let's go back to how the last inning ended for the Bulls at the plate in the top of the third. Jocelyn Erickson could see it at the corner of her eye from the knees.
And you know what makes that so seamless? Catcher behind the base, and it gives her a tunnel to throw to first base so much quicker than it would be for a right-handed catcher to turn her body and make that throw.
Yeah, because you have to twist all the way around, face the bag, as opposed to just whipping that arm across the body.
Yeah, it's like a tell, but when you have Jocelyn Erickson, a lefty, all she has to do is whip back and throw that cannon.
Ryan Eigenman ahead of the count, 2-1. We've talked about this in past broadcasts, but you actually prefer to throw to, as a right-handed pitcher, throw to a lefty catcher, which is rare. But you threw to Janelle Wheaton in your time here.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I loved pitching to Aubrey Monroe, but when I started to develop that off-speed drop and throw it on the outside corner, that left-handed catcher in Janelle Wheaton, she was able to just take her glove and frame it with the flick of a wrist. So made my job a lot easier.
Strike three. Outer half. Eigenman does not like the call, and Ava Brown starting to cruise a little bit here. That's her second strikeout.
It's taken Ava Brown a little bit to get her feet wet in this game, but like I just said, that lefty catcher and Jocelyn Erickson framing this pitch that might have been in the river. Still a great pitch by Ava, but
Brings in now Dania Brooks. Brooks is the daughter of Bucks Ring of Honor member Derek Brooks, great linebacker, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jam job roller to Mia Williams at second. Easy play this time. And for the second time in her start, Ava Brown has sat down the bowls in order. Picks up her second K of the frame. Gators trying to get the bats going. Gators held in the league. As Ken Erickson comes out of the dugout, wants a word with James Colsey. Veteran head coach brings out the lineup card. Longtime head coach of Team USA.
I had the honor of losing to him as head coach with Team Puerto Rico.
2011 to 2021, his last run was the Tokyo Olympics, which eventually was played because of the pandemic in 2021. Played on the South Florida baseball team in the early to mid-'80s. As Otis takes quickly 2 in a row in the zone, 0-2. Assisted by Carla Claudio Rivera, who we got a chance to talk to yesterday, who's a legend in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Carla actually has a mural of her in Puerto Rico. That
Your
was painted.
teammate as well on the senior national team?
My teammate, my captain, actually. El Capitan.
Two-way player, played for Ken Erickson. Otis lasers this foul. Was a grad assistant in 2019 on Tim Walton's staff. Learned just about everything she knows in terms of the teaching and coaching realm of the sport from Coach Walton. Said once she saw Tim Walton's way, she doesn't want to do it any other way. She's a future head coach one day, that's for sure. Off speed just missed, Alicia. Almost a strikeout.
Ah, really good pitch down in the zone. But I can relate to that. Coach Walton's just so meticulous about everything, and we do things 100 times just to make sure we do it right.
There's the strikeout. Peyton Dixon rings up Corby Otis. Number 6 is rocking and rolling.
If not on the changeup low and out on this back door, such a pretty pitch. You can see the spin. It starts in the lefty batter's box, comes across and clips the plate, gets Corby.
One gone, base is clear. Got to give you guys a shout out. Team Puerto Rico, yourself, Carla, won silver this fall at the Pan Am Games. Highest finish for Team Puerto Rico. So got to give you guys your flowers there.
I appreciate
Big
that.
fall.
I do. It was a very anytime we win a medal, it's extremely emotional. But
You've won 5 total now, correct? You and Carla?
we have. It's been a great ride. But you know, I'm just honored to be her teammate. She's led this squad for so long, and you know, I look up to her as captain, and it's great that the Bulls get a chance to be under her and learn from her and be teammates with her as well, because we have Kathy Garcia and then Camille as well, who's also on the Puerto Rican national team.
Jocelyn Erickson walks. See Carla in the background, sitting on that bucket right there. That's who we're talking about. Here's Reagan Walsh now. Gators have a base runner. First one drops in for a strike.
got Reagan Walsh to roll over on a changeup late in her at bat last time.
And she's expanded the areas where she can get hits. Saw her a couple times in the LSU series really expand her zone on outside pitches, drive them the other way.
She reminds me a lot of Corby Otis. I think they favor each other in a way that they can hit bad balls really well. And I say bad balls, just pitches a little bit more out of the zone and get behind the ball with her barrel.
Off speed, wicked spin off the very end of the bat. Dixon boots it. That one had crazy amounts of spin. Hit off the very top of the bat.
And just as I say, she gets behind balls very well. Here she is out in front. Like you said, crazy spin, but I think where Peyton Dixon went wrong is she did not get her web exposed to the ball. Her web was closed, her glove was closed, so she wasn't even allowing the ball to roll into her glove. And step number one, that's what your glove's for.
Bailey Goddard, early big spot. Gators' second hit will be officially a hit for Reagan Walsh. It all looks the same in the box score after the game. Bailey Goddard, having dealt with injuries the last couple of years, in and out as a starter. Started the year platooning out and right with Katie Kistler. Head in the count 2-1. One of the true leaders of this team. Has had some big hits come up, put up really good numbers in pinch hit spots in SEC play, which is one of the hardest things to do in the sport. Come off the bench and hit.
It's extremely hard. I mean, you got to stay in tune each and every game, even though you're not physically moving and getting on the field each and every time. She does a great job at staying in tune. I mean, take advantage of each opportunity that she's granted.
Now did Goddard lean out a little bit? James Colsey says hit by pitch. They appeal to third. Robert Guest says there was no swing. And Ken Erickson's going to ask the same question that I have asked. They're going to look and see if Goddard made an attempt to get out of the way or maybe leaned into the zone. And you can look at this. This is reviewable.
Now in real time, it almost looked as if she did lean in a little bit out of hesitancy, but this call will be reviewed.
So the rule is hit by pitch. So we'll take more looks at it. Goddard's already been hit once. If this stands, this will be another hit by pitch. We'll take the first look from center field. Okay. Now you got to stay in your area. You can't lean out. Now she attempts at the swing, so that's all part of her. So we will get the call. Robert Guest is the man with the microphone. So it is upheld. And Goddard was in the midst of a swing, it looked like. So it was a normal motion. At first, it just looked a little bit awkward, but on replay, it looks to be the right call. Now the Gators trying to find a way to capitalize. They have the bases loaded for Katie Kistler.
You hear the crowd cheering for the Gators as they have bases loaded in the midnight black unis.
You used to say, Alicia, ducks on the pond. Was that a saying that you had?
No.
No, you never
But
said
it is
that?
a saying. It is a saying. How much older are you than me again?
Okay, well, that's hurtful. 3-0. Well, one pitch away from bringing one of those ducks across. Swimming to home plate. Erickson at third. So Dixon all of a sudden has lost the zone. Have to think red light here for Kistler, and takes right down center.
It takes maturity to be able to stay composed in situations like this, especially when you're facing a top 10 component with bases loaded behind in the count.
Whips this foul. So had the full go on 3-1, 3-2, 1 out.
If I'm Peyton Dixon, I'm staying low in the zone to try to induce a ground ball, hopefully roll up a double play to get out of this inning.
And a payoff is popped up right towards us. Alicia, you bring your glove?
It's in the car.
Okay, well,
I'll have
it doesn't
to-
do any good in there.
Right, Kistler just swinging so big right now, trying to get the ball out of the infield. If she does get the ball to the outfield in a decent spot, that scores a run, gives Kistler a sac fly.
Payoff part 2. Rolled over, foul. Do you shorten up your swing a little bit considering the situation? Bases loaded, less than 2 outs, just need to get the ball in the outfield. Do you shorten things up, change anything in your approach?
Well, you know, everyone has a different two-strike approach. I probably would do so, just try to get one through the middle. But some people shorten up, some people go to no stride.
Rolled sharply off the glove of Tribal Peace at first. Erickson scores. Coming in is Walsh in headlong, and 2 runs in as Katie Kistler comes through. And the Gators up 2-0 in the 4th.
Kistler doing Kistler things, getting around this inside pitch through the legs of Tribal Peace, scoring Jocelyn Erickson. And I mean, Katie Kistler taking full advantage of that. A really good at bat, driving it to 3-2 and staying on it to get the first 2 RBIs of the game.
Still just 1 out. Bailey Goddard down to third. Here's now Ava Brown. Swings away, drives 1 to center. Cadlub goes back. This should get in a run. Cadlub makes the catch. Goddard tags from third in standing up. And Ava Brown helps her own cause, gets the job done with a sac fly. That's her 3rd sac fly of the year. Gators up 3-0.
And that's textbook. I mean, you have less than 2 outs, run around third. Your job is to poke one through to hopefully get this sack. Good job by Ava Brown, the two-way phenom.
So the Gators able to break through against Cadlub after getting the bases loaded with 1 out. 2-run single from Kistler and a sac fly from Brown. And Gators looking for more production from 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. And get it here in this inning as Brooke Bernard now to the plate, 1-1 count.
This being her first start, she should feel some weight lifted off her shoulders a little bit, knowing that the score is 3-0 and they have a little bit of insurance.
Shortens up. Say she pulled back. Ball 2. Brooke Bernard, native of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Started her career at Ole Miss. Played 1 season there. Ripped on the ground, fell. Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, about 4 hours from Gainesville, 260 miles. Had a big series against the Gators last year in late April. Helped the Rebels to their first win over Florida in Gainesville since 2014. Takes strike 3 outside corner, so Dixon battles back. 2nd of the inning in terms of strikeouts, 4th of her start. But the Gators get 3 runs on a total of 2 hits, 1 left. 3-0 Gators. Everybody on this broadcast team knows I don't get out of my apartment often, so I don't see the sun a whole lot.
That's sad, Kyle.
It is. It is. Garcia Soto's 0 for 1, shortens the bunt, and comes up empty for strike 2.
Kathy Garcia Soto striking out her last at-bat, going to a bunt to hopefully try something to first base side. The alignment with Brooke Bernard playing a little bit further back than normal right now. Kathy trying to take advantage.
Garcia Soto, Alicia, like you mentioned, she's a switch hitter, and this is her more power hitting side of the plate, the right side. The short game is more when she hits on the left side. Don't see a whole lot of switch hitters in softball, more common in the baseball game.
Way more common in baseball. It's almost non-existent in softball, but Kathy Garcia, like you said, more power on the right side. Tries to get the contact on the left side, but did have a double standing in this past weekend over Memphis. On the left side, standing in.
Last year was the co-defensive player of the year in a breakout freshman year in the American Athletic Conference. Was all second team, all rookie team. First career home run was a walk-off against number 9 Texas.
Talk about Kathy and how she's a switch hitter, so electric, so good on defense, that co-defensive player of the year. We asked her what her relationship was with Alana Rivera. Asked Coach Claudio, said that Alana's taking her under her wing defensively.
Got jammed, softly line foul. It's a nice dynamic in that middle infield between Alana Rivera and Kathy Garcia Soto.
Kathy just an athlete. I mean, she plays third base as well, can play in the outfield too.
And that hit her. Garcia Soto trying to fire up her team as she runs down to first.
This one just clips her on the inside corner. Nice movement by Ava Brown, but just a little bit too much, and that is
Jordan Cadlub swings through strike one. Third leadoff base runner for South Florida tonight. Cadlub 0 for 1, flew out to center her first time. Snap toss again to first, look out. Garcia Soto is back. But if you're a base runner, beware.
You gotta have fast twitch muscles over there to be able to dive back in a hurry.
That side-eye vision from Jocelyn Erickson is special. Bunt popped up, and Brown will let that roll foul. Smart play.
It's still a close ball game, so I understand Cadlub trying to go to that sack bunt to get Kathy over and try to chip away. You can't hit a 3-run bomb to time the game with only runner on base. Wow, that was a tongue twister.
Best bunter on the team, 9 sacrifices this year with 2 strikes, swings away, and that's strike 3. Third K for Ava Brown. And there's the opening out as the lineup turns back over to Alexa Gallegani.
And just pulls the string on this changeup. I mean, it just falls off the table. Cadlub cannot but get behind it, but this is not bases loaded, having some runners on, getting some hits, but the Gator is able to get out of this.
Almost took out her teammate on that swing. Olivia Elliott on deck had to do a salsa dance to get out of the way of that one. Whacks this on a line, foul. Gallegani singled in the third. That was part of 2 singles in that inning. And that is the missing piece for a pitching staff that's very solid for USF. Can they get enough offensively to get back to a regional this year? Missed out last season. We'll look to avoid missing back-to-back regionals for the first time since 2011. They've made 9 of the last 11 NCAA tournaments. 2-2.
I like to call that a pitcher's pitch. Talk about her movement, that screwball going outside. Just missed it over the white of the chalk line. A really great eye by Gallegani.
Brown lets it fly. And that got Gallegani right on the hand. That can't feel good.
What is that, 4 hit by pitches this game? Correct me if I'm wrong.
We've had 3 coming in the last 2 half innings. That one right on the front hand.
This is a missed spot by trying to protect herself but can't get out of the way.
So now first and second, Olivia Elliott coming to the plate. You get the sense if there's going to be a rally here, it's got to come pretty soon. Running out of outs for the Bulls. Elliott is 0 for 2, is flown out to center, lined out sharply to Walsh at third.
Oh for 2, but still swinging it. It's a matter of time for Elliott in the lineup to make good contact and poke something through for her team. I mean, like you said, if there's any time, it's now.
Chelsea Dobbins comes out for another visit inside the circle. The entire infield will join the chat. Big series coming up for the Gators. We mentioned South Florida is going to have a big series in their own right against Wichita State, who's picked to win the conference. The Gators will head to the Show Me State, Columbia, Missouri, for the start of a 3-game set on Friday. That'll be a top 15 series, and that is the case in the SEC. All but 3 teams in the league are ranked in the ESPN poll. Gators moving up 1 spot this weekend after the series victory against LSU. They're 9th in the country. Just 1 game back of Tennessee, so all these series grow more and more in importance.
I have to get past the arm of Lauren Krings at Missouri.
Looping liner, shallow left, tips in front of Otis. Garcia Soto stops at third, and the Bulls, for a second time in this game, have the bases loaded.
We spoke about Elliott. I mean, she was putting her bat behind the ball in her previous at-bats, but this one finally finding green and getting down in order to move every runner 60 feet.
Infielders now drift back a touch, possibly for a ground ball double play. Bailey Trapola has singled already. Chelsea Dobbins is outside that dugout. And I think the Gators are going to go to a new pitcher here, as Tim Walton brings out the lineup card. If Ava Brown gets switched out of the circle, could see her move to first and stay in the game.
I think right now the command of Ava Brown has been the downfall of this inning so far. 2 hit by pitches, giving up that base hit. Kind of struggling with her command a little bit, and it does look like she is going to Rothrock.
So it will be Keegan Rothrock, former National Gatorade Player of the Year, replacing another National Gatorade Player of the Year. Number 7 hops in, bases juiced, 1 out in the 5th.
Winter Sports, more than sports. When your highlight reel opens the door to 4 years of higher education, 0 student loan debt, and
Trying to shut the door with just 1 out. Alicia, that's Keegan Rothrock.
Keegan Rothrock, she's going to come in with a little bit more zip on her pitch, touching 70 miles per hour, get it up there to the low 70s, but really high spin rate, coming in with a lethal rise ball that she can throw at different levels, but not only that, at different speeds. So very deceptive on the mound and the clear ace for the Florida Gators.
Saw her on Monday night. A no decision in 6 innings, allowed a season-high 8 hits against a very good lineup, 5 earned runs. Issues with walks, had 4 walks in her 2 starts, in each of the 2 starts against LSU. 10 walks in 3 games in that 3-game set against the Tigers. So, no room for error here with the bases loaded. Bailey Trapola. Again, second time South Florida's had the bases loaded against Gator pitching. Trapola 250 with the bases loaded this season. It's the 1 hit came in the 3rd. Rothrock's 1-0.
And I love how they went to Rothrock. I mean, you have these freshmen that are taking the mound putting them in situations to be battle tested is going to show their character down the road, show what they can do, and work on their mental toughness. I mean, when you talk about a team who's hitting so well and also pitching well, but giving them an opportunity to compete in the postseason, you've got to be able to see what these freshmen are capable of and let them work through jams and come in different situations to make them feel confident down the road.
Line over Wallace into left field. That'll bring in Garcia Soto. And another run will come in for the Bulls as Gallegani skates across and a 2-run single from Bailey Trapola. And it's now a brand new ball game. It's 3-2 in the fifth.
This pitch low in the zone, missed over the plate. Trapola is all over it, drives this pitch into left center field. I mean, we saw it last at bat on that changeup by Ava.
Peterson hits and add another fair ball down the right field line as Tribal Peace comes through. 1 run in for the Bulls and the game is tied on the RBI double from Marissa Tribal Peace. We're all even here in the 5th inning.
We talk about being battle tested. Right now, Rothrock is getting battle tested. How did Marissa Tribal Peace hit this ball at her head? I don't know, but she did it. And a great piece to the right field line to get another.
Still just 1 out, infield in now with 2nd and 3rd. Alana Rivera takes high and in. You could sense they have a whole different confidence as a lineup after the weekend where they swept Memphis and put up crooked numbers in all 3 games. 2-0.
It's almost as if they were hoping Rothrock would come in at some point. Rothrock has pitched a lot of Wednesday series games, so it'd be easy to prepare for her.
That clipped her. So since Rothrock has come in, 2-run single, an RBI double, and a hit by pitch, the go-ahead run is 60 feet away, bases loaded. And it'll be Ryan Eigenman to the plate.
We talked about pinch hitting earlier in this game and how tough it is to come in off the bench, but coming in relief, especially with bases loaded, is extremely tough to do when your back is against the wall. And right now, Rothrock just struggling with her command. USF just getting behind these balls really, really well. I still can't get over Tribal Peace's good piece of hitting to right field on that rise ball. Typically, you'll see people swinging through that rise ball up in the zone by Rothrock.
Tribal Peace needed that hit in the worst way. Came in hitting 204. They made some adjustments to her swing. It's her 3rd double of the year. She stands at 2nd. That double tied the game at 3. Big at bat here for Ryan Eigenman. Sprays this foul.
And the momentum is on USF's side right now with 1 out.
The Gators 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Quickly answer with 3 runs here in the top of the 5th, and the Bulls not done. Ball 3. 1 pitch out of the zone from forcing in the go-ahead run. Count full. The highs and lows of this sport. Gators coming off the celebration of Monday night, and here they are. That hard-fought game against South Florida. Next foul back to the screen.
Both teams coming off a great series win and a sweep with USF. But it doesn't matter the opponent that you're facing. You cannot get complacent. USF doesn't care about the ranking right now. They're just getting bat to ball, and that's really the name of the game.
And a payoff. Off the very end of the bat, Erickson can't get to it. Oh, so close.
Imagine how hard it is to run with all that gear on.
The arsenal for Rothrock: rise, screw, curve, and change. What does she go to here on 3-2? Bases loaded. Swing and a miss. Rears back, gets the K, and a big one at that. Now 2 outs, bases still loaded. It's up to Tania Brooks.
Rothrock struggling to find her footing early in this inning, but a great screwball in the inside corner, finding her command for a big out. Now 2 down for the Florida Gators. I think Brooks wants to keep her arms today.
Brooks gets a piece quickly, 0-2. Rothrock got the start against South Florida on February 11th, went a complete game, did allow 7 hits that day, struck out 7. 1-1 on its way. Saw a relief appearance on Sunday against LSU. And another 3-ball count.
Rothrock just trying to locate that curveball. A little bit too wide and a little bit too high in the zone. A called strike.
Finding a way on all 3-ball counts. Ken Erickson saying that one was low at third base. Runners will get a jump. 3-2, 2 out. Big pitch. Brooks stays alive. Three-two. Again, foul back.
Rothrock just trying to keep her off balance. Mixing both sides of the plate with that curveball early. Now trying to clip the inner part of the plate, get her to swing and miss or jam.
Ball 4, and South Florida comes from 3 runs down. A 4 spot in the 5th to take a 4-3 lead as Bailey Trappola scores.
To a rise ball. Just meant that she had so much confidence in that pitch, but Brooks, a really good hold and really great discipline at the plate in that at bat to hold up and give her team the lead.
Kathy Garcia Soto started this inning. The Bulls have officially batted around. She was hit by a pitch to start this frame. Rothrock battling back. Ball and 2 strikes. Gators on the flip side will have the top of their lineup in the bottom of the 5th. Almost hit her again. Count full. So another full count with 2 outs.
These Florida pitchers just have to lower their heartbeat a little bit, try to hit the spot instead of trying to do too much.
Popped up. Does it stay in play? No.
Oftentimes as a pitcher, when you're in high pressure situations, it's easy to get tense. It's easy to try to force the ball to where you need it to go. That's when you got to rely on your mechanics and your spin to remain deceptive instead of trying to throw too hard or.
That's ball 4. Another run comes in for the Bulls as Tribal Peace touches home. And a 5-run inning, it's now 5-3. Back-to-back bases loaded walks. And the carousel keeps moving here in the 5th inning.
My question is, who do you go to after taking Ava Brown out of the game, putting your ace, Keegan Rothrock, in? You have Olivia Miller. You have Wooten, the graduate transfer.
And the bulk of the innings have come from their 2 freshmen the Gators have thrown tonight. Olivia Miller has thrown the 3rd most innings at 24. Kenzie Wooten has just thrown 2 2/3 innings this year. So Rothrock far and away has thrown the most innings, 135 entering the day, and Ava Brown just south of 80. 0-2 pitch, 5 runs in the frame. In the air, this could end the inning. Wallace, a long run, turns the glove over but could not hold on. Up against the sidewall. Had to readjust that glove and just could not snag it.
What a long run by Skylar Wallace. I mean, ending near the left field corner to get that ball and nearly had it, but like you said, switched her glove over just a little bit. I think that play would have helped a lot. Get out of this inning.
Rolled into center field, base hit. 1 run scores as the number 9 batter, Jordan Cadlup, continues this offensive party. An RBI single, it's now 6-3 Bulls.
We talk about that last play with Skylar Wallace. That would have ended the inning, but Cadlup taking this missed pitch over the plate, driving it right back up the middle. USF is...
Stop the bleeding right now. 6 runs in the 5th. 13th appearance of the year for Olivia Miller. Take a look at her numbers from the Orlando area. Just over a 2.6 ERA, 2 outs, bases still loaded. Gators go to the lefty, first pitch, slow roller to the hole at short. Wallace was able to make that long throw on to first, but the Bulls have a 6-run frame. They've lost the last 27 in this all-time series. Have not beat the Gators since 2012, and Alicia, the Bulls, they are rolling.
And the Bulls are hot right now. Coming out,
Peyton Dixon. Bulls 13-60 all-time against the Gators. Lost 27 straight. One thing I'll say is don't count this Florida offense out.
you definitely can, especially with Kenja Falby in the box right now with what she did this past weekend. But you also can't count out USF. What a great time to get your bats going halfway through conference play. Coming off a great sweep. And with Peyton Dixon on the mound, 3 isn't a huge lead this inning with some insurance runs.
Falby pops up, an off-speed delivery to third. Grab made by Tania Brooks for out number 1. So 1 up, 1 down, brings in Skylar Wallace, who's looking to get going. She's 0 for 2. Last win for the Bulls, May 20th of 2012 against the Gators. That was a 1-0 victory in the Gainesville Regional. Last time they beat the Gators, they went to the World Series. Also beat them in March of that year as well. And a strike. Wallace, hard hit to first, stays fair. Oh no, foul ball, according to James Colsey. Very close. Travel piece fielding that just right of the chalk.
Skylar Wallace catching a break. You know, with a competitive player like her, a little bit frustrated. I can imagine being 0 for 2 and having a quiet bat on Monday night versus LSU Tigers. You saw her Instagram post, speed kills, so still happy about that win. But you see here, this ball just gets fouled. It's a little bit hard to see at this angle, but
did Wallace go around? No, says third base umpire Robert Guest. Very close. This is a key inning here for Dixon, facing the top of the lineup. Another look. Very close.
I saw the cap. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But a good break indeed for Skylar Wallace right now, looking for some confidence going into the latter half of the season.
Six runs for the Bulls in the top half of the fifth. Gators trying to fight back. They put up 3 runs in the fourth. Wallace average still at .435. That hits her. She's led the team in being plunked this year.
Kind of gasped on that one. We've seen 6 hit by pitches today. It's been a hit by pitch fest. All smiles for Skylar Wallace, giving her team an opportunity with 1 out.
I'm not sure how aggressive you get either, down 3 runs in terms of trying to take off. Here's Corby Otis, 0 for 2. Distributions of outs here for Peyton Dixon. Has 4 strikeouts, 7 outs in the air, 2 on the ground. She's mixed her pitches really well.
Indeed, going to that curveball, zipping across. She actually struck Skylar Wallace out on a plate that wasn't even as competitive as you think, but her break is just so deceptive coming across the plate. But that backdoor curve is a beautiful pitch. Crosses over the chalk of the lefty's batter's box and just drops right over the black of the plate.
Count evens out. Dixon had a great start in the best win that they had this year against Michigan. That would change if they win tonight. When a complete game 3 hitter through a shutout against Michigan. He was receiving votes in the top 25 at the time. Otis reaches for this. Dixon bobbles. It's loose. Brooks has no play. Wallace gets back. And usually you're taught, right, Alicia, as a pitcher to kind of try and get out of the way as much as possible.
Well, I think it all depends. A lot of pitchers do, but I think as a lefty with Brooks playing so far back, Peyton has no other play but to grab that ball and try to make an out. I think if she would have gotten in front of it a little bit better, would have had a better opportunity. But now with the Gators, I mean, don't count them out.
Now, on second glance, that's definitely her ball. Wasn't too far away from the circle. And here's Jocelyn Erickson. Represents the tying run.
That's all it takes for the Florida Gators. You're playing any team who's been producing offensively, cannot give up those free passes, those errors, hit by pitches, those walks. You saw that last half inning with the Florida Gators, Ava Brown and Rothrock.
Erickson ahead in the count 2-1. You look at recent memory in SEC play. The Gators have had a couple of comeback wins of note. Down 4 runs in the 5th inning against Mississippi State, came back to win 7-6. LSU on Monday night down 4 runs. That off the plate, ball 3. Down 5-1 heading into the bottom of the 6th against the Tigers. You could hear a pin drop in this place. They came back to win 6-5. Big part of the transfer additions Tim Walton brought in to bolster this lineup. Ball four, 5-pitch walk to Erickson. Base is now loaded, so the Gators trying to return serve here. And now it's Reagan Walsh.
I think when you're down, especially by more than one run, you have to practice patience. Allow the ball to cross the plate. Don't try to be too anxious. In this case, she allowed the ball to come to her, grabbed a walk. Now, bases loaded in no time for the Florida Gators.
Has a grand slam this year that came in the Kentucky series in game 1. Walsh has an infield hit, grounded out to second. 0-1. Popped up lazily to first. Tribal Piece is over to make the catch for out number 2. That's a huge out for Peyton Dixon.
Talked about her mixing pitches earlier. This one jammed her a little bit at the end of the bat on that one.
Now it's Goddard, who's been hit twice. This time working that outer half for strike 1. Power was off the charts in the preseason entering this year, rehabbing from the knee injury.
It's always tough to come back from injury. Physically, you know you've got the tools, but it's the mental aspect that I believe is most challenging when you're coming back.
Goddard lines this, foul. And also, too, during that pitch, the lighting on the video board went down a decent amount. I'm sure that might have played tricks a little bit on Bailey Goddard. It was right before the pitch.
Definitely could have. There it goes.
Yeah.
Went back up.
That can't be good for a hitter. Big 1-2. Just a little bit low.
Good holds by Bailey Goddard. That's why the Florida Gators have been so good at coming back as of late, because they have so much patience in the box.
Count full, runners will get a jump. Coach Walton lets everybody know just that. You're off and running at the pitch. Dixon is ready. Goddard's ready. The payoff is skied in the air. Fouls left field side. Brooks is over, and she's got it. And the Gators leave them loaded. And South Florida celebrates getting out of a bases-loaded jam. Still leads 6-3 after 5. Bit of a shocker here in the midweek for now. South Florida up 6-3 as hit. Has a 2-hit night. That's her 4th two-bagger of the year. And the Bulls set up right away here in the 6th.
And Olivia Elliott does a good job by driving this pitch. That's moving towards the outer part of the plate, getting it out in front.
For the South Florida Bulls, a team that came in hitting .247 as a group, but they thought they found their stride over the weekend against Memphis. And it turns out to have been the case. Bailey Drapola lays down a bunt. Miller gets out of the way. Brown fields. Williams covers. The out goes 3-4. Down to third is Elliott.
That's a really good heads-up play by Ava Brown. Textbook sacrifice to get the runner over, but as you can see, Olivia Elliott gets over quickly, but
here's now Marissa Tribal Piece. Had a big swing, an RBI double in that marathon 5th inning. Trending in the right direction. This staff knows she's a great hitter. Had a great season last year. Yanks this foul. And the message to her is you're not going to get the cookies, as they put it, down the middle to hit anymore. You have to be a little bit more selective in what you swing at. Part of it, she just needs to relax a little bit more. Swats this in the air, out of play. trying to get her to play a little bit more free, not to get too upset when things don't happen at the plate. She's going to be an everyday player regardless. As a senior, perhaps turning a corner.
When you have that confidence from your coaching staff to tell you to just be free and you're going to be an everyday starter regardless of the outcomes, that should bring you a lot of confidence in itself to give you the freedom to just be free and swing through each pitch the best way you know how.
Last year led the team in hits, doubles, home runs. Had a slow start to her Bulls tenure. It was 2 of her first 22 and then broke out after playing her former team in Michigan State last year. Now the Gators have to find a way to settle in with Olivia Miller, who has thrown a pair of perfect games, including one of those on South Florida's home field, opening weekend. Trying to make the most, Alicia, of this opportunity for her to maybe audition for more innings in SEC play.
Yeah, when you're pitching and you're trying to look for more innings, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. And right now with Olivia Miller, I got my Olivias mixed up earlier on that sack bunt, but you got to take every opportunity, like you said, as an audition. And it's really hard to do, especially when you don't have many in your back pocket. You've got to figure out how to stay prepared in the bullpen.
Strike 3, inside corner. Tribal Peace does not like it.
I just love the energy by Olivia Miller. Getting Tribal Peace on this inside pitch, this backdoor curveball that just comes across her knees. Tribal Peace did not like that, but a big out for the Gators.
It's up to Alana Rivera. 0 for 2 has been hit by a pitch. Top hitter in this lineup entering tonight.
Coach Claudia spoke on just her leadership, not only in the box, but on the field and overall.
This almost got past Erickson. Elliott at third. That could have been danger. Elliott led off this inning on a first pitch double.
They've just been taking advantage of every opportunity.
That's a 4-pitch walk to Rivera, so now first and third. And here's Ryan Eigenman. Get you the line on Brown, who got the start. 3 earned runs against Ava Brown to her ledger on 5 hits, 4 1/3 innings, no walks, 3 Ks. And then Rothrock came in, only got 1 out, entered a bases-loaded jam. That was in the 5th inning. 3 earned runs to her ledger on 3 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Just really labored against this South Florida lineup. And then Miller came in, was able to get the final out of the 5th. After 12 batters came to the plate and 6 runs across. And now Tim Walton will enter the circle. What do you think a big part of this conversation is about, Alicia? You've been in many of these.
I think just making the team more aware of the situation that they're in. They have an opportunity to get a runner out at second base if Miller induces a ground ball, but they have 2 outs. So to just stick with the plan, 1-0, wants to just give her some confidence. They've been struggling with command when you look at that last inning. USF has been teeing up the ball, but 3 hit by pitches that have scored between Rothrock and Brown. So command has been an issue. So I think he was just speaking some gospel to her and just ensuring that she throws strikes and allows the defense to work.
1-0 count to Ryan Eigenman. Bulls trying to make some history tonight. Have lost 27 straight against Florida. Last win, 2012 in this ballpark in the Gainesville Regional. It's been that long. There's ball 3.
I don't know about you, Kyle, but I like that pitch. I think Peyton Dixon's getting a lot on an outer corner, throwing that backdoor curveball. I'm going to see Miller get some of those too. But regardless of the outcome of the game, I know South Florida's leading 6-3, giving them confidence, just knowing that they can produce offensively, especially going up against Wichita State. He was top 2 in their conference, picked to win in the AAC.
Eigenman gets a piece. Runner was taken off from first with 3-2, 2 out. Wichita State receiving votes in the top 25. And that'll be what South Florida's weekend looks like. They're now 7-8 in the American Athletic Conference. 3-2. Good AB here. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up.
That just shows grit for these Bulls. I mean, we've seen it all night, just scratching and clawing their way through. Get some hits on the board, doing just that.
Roll through the left side, base hit. A 2-out knock as Elliott comes in to score, and Eigenman comes through to make it 7-3 Bulls.
That pitch just curving right into her wheelhouse. Take a look here. Olivia Miller coming in from the left side. That curveball doesn't get in enough, and Eigenman just throws her barrel to it. Gets enough to get between the 5-6 hole.
10 hits tonight for South Florida. This is the 8th time this year they've had at least 10 hits. And against a Florida pitching staff that came in top 15 nationally in ERA. Served right to first. Brown snags it. And that will do it. A run comes in on 2 hits. And 2 left for the Bulls. They have a cushion. Can they get the final 6 outs at KSP? The most hits the Gators pitching staff has allowed, it was 14 against Mississippi State. They've allowed 10 tonight through 3 pitchers. See the numbers for Kistler, had a 2-run single. The first 2 runs of this game, the Gators were up 3-0 after 4. And then a 6-run 5th and a lone run in the 6th. And this place was bumping in the bottom of the 4th, and it's gotten a lot more quiet here at KSP. And credit Ken Erickson and this crew. They've come in, and they are locked in offensively, and they have a really solid pitching staff.
And by pitching staff today, you mean Peyton Dixon.
That's right. Ken Erickson, the longtime head coach, South Florida. Reigning American Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Week. Unleashes the 2-1 high. This is how the Gators got their rally going on Monday night. Able to get on with some free passes, load the bases. Eventually come back from 4 down. Kistler gets called back with a strike. And a similar situation here as they were on Monday night, down 4 runs in the 6th. Kistler uncorks on a ball to right field. That goes over the head of Elliott up against the wall. Kistler rounding second, heading into third, and in sliding with a triple.
Do not count them out. Katie Kistler opening up her hips to take this ball to right field, legging this one out. Gets to third base on a miscue on the wall. The Gators.
It's now Alana Consolazio in right. So the ball went over her head. She's in right for Elliott. Kistler has a triple. That is the lone defensive change here for South Florida. Brown rips this just foul. Almost got an extra base hit.
And Kistler almost looked like a track star running around the bases. She did not stop her feet once running around. Long strides. Completely seamless transition throughout the bases. That's how she was able to get to third base.
Kistler's third triple of the year. 2-strike pitch. Gators also entered today. That was their 15th triple as a team. That's most in the SEC. Strike 3. Outside corner, Dixon battles back after giving up the triple. And Brown down looking. We'll see if the Gators will go to a pinch hitter here in the 9 spot. It will be Bernard. I guess they're just entering her back into the game to hit here in the 9 spot. You see the pitches by inning. Last 2 have been somewhat of a grind, 30 plus in the 4th and 5th. Fifth strikeout, meanwhile, for Dixon. It's Bernard who gets entered back in the 9 spot. She started in this spot at first.
That backdoor curve is extremely challenging to see as a right-handed batter. It's coming from the left side, but it's also bending so much. These righties can't necessarily see it.
Bernard pops this up, tribal piece down the line.
And when they do, they're either popping it up or grounding it out. It's the latter half of the game.
Kistler still at third after the leadoff triple. And now it's Kendra Falby, top of the lineup. Down 4 runs. Peyton Dixon, the unflappable redshirt sophomore. Falby will get a ribby single. Drives this through the left side as Kistler comes in, and the Gators get one back. And it's now 7-4 in the 6th inning with 2 outs. Brings Wallace to the plate.
I'll put money on Kendra Falby up at the plate with a runner in scoring position. This is nothing new to her. Came up first pitch swinging.
Up to second, and that will do it. So the damage is limited for Peyton Dixon. South Florida 3 outs from making some history. Trying to beat the Gators for the first time since 2012. Last time we saw her, you have to go back to February 29th out west against Long Beach State. There's 2 2/3 innings. Not a whole lot of a sample size there, Alicia.
Not a whole lot of sample size, but what a better time to get her a look right now. She's going to come in with that drop ball, an off-speed curve. She does throw a fastball. Going to throw at multiple speeds, try to keep these hitters off balance.
Going to have a pinch hitter here to start. Alyssa Reyno, the senior, will hit for Kathy Garcia Soto. Just joining us, Gators had a 3-0 lead after 4, a 6-run 5th from South Florida. Gave them a lead. They have not looked back since. Gators got one back in the bottom of the 6th inning. But it has been all Bulls from the 5th inning on. Alyssa Reno in a pinch hit spot, loops this over Walsh, goes off her glove into shallow right field. First pitch hack and a leadoff single. Pinch hit spot for Alyssa Reno. That's her second hit of the year and her just fourth at bat.
She's coming up swinging. Lands in no man's land. I think Mia Williams had a good beat on it, but just enough to get it past her.
Garcia Soto enters back in to run it first. And just 3 outs to get from, I would assume, an ultimate celebration in that dugout. Now it's Jordan Cadlow. And after her, top of the lineup.
Cadlow trying to get that sack down and get some insurance runs. Florida's no stranger to coming back after having a deficit. So you never know.
Cadlow lays it down. Wooten Fields fires. Walsh covering. Get you the Gators' defensive changes. Brooke Bernard, who started the game at first, she's now at third. Reagan Walsh has moved from third to second. So Williams coming out of the game. And the rest remains the same for the Gators. There's Walsh at second. That's where she played just about every game last year.
She's just so athletic. The ability to move across the field and play different positions is a blessing. I mean, you come in and you can hit. Coach is going to find a spot for you. See Bernard at third base.
Sure, if we're going to have a pinch hitter here for South Florida. Alex Wilkes. A hit for Alexa Galligani at the top of the lineup. Wilkes, 286. 18 of 63 at the plate. Has made 19 starts this year, so has been pretty much a part of the lineup more often than not. The 28th game. Nice changeup.
He just pulled the string on that one. I think my knees buckled up here in the booth on that one.
Kenzie Wooten is in PT school, physical therapy school, so they only get to work with her at specific times of the week. Essentially, it's school all the time and pretty much softball on the side. .111 career innings transferred from Virginia. Pitched in just 5 games last year with the Cavaliers. Most innings pitched came in the 21 season, 42 2/3. She go around? No. 2-2 now on Wilkes.
That was a close one. I mean, you're going to see that out of Wooten, that drop ball. She comes in with a curveball to start. Tries to get her on that drop ball. It's a close one. I didn't see Cav this time.
That's the indicator.
Yes.
Driven in the air, center field. Kendra Falby is over. Garcia Soto just bluffs at second.
And we talked about Kendra Falby's arm in center field, how she has a great one that kind of goes under the radar a little bit because her hitting is so good. But Kathy knowing not to test the arm of Falby over at second base.
Here's the red-hot Olivia Elliott. Last 2 times to the plate, single, and ripped the first pitch double. Here smacks this foul. Have to sense that heart is racing right now for Peyton Dixon in that dugout, 3 outs away from a night this program will never forget. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Gators in the 7th. There's that floating change.
She wanted it. It's a little bit too high in the zone.
Olivia Elliott has led this team in total bases. Tied for the team lead in walks. Golfs this to center. That should do it. Falby makes the grab, and the Gators have 3 outs to play with. South Florida 3 outs from an historic night related for this 7th. Against this cardiac Gators lineup that has had the flair for the dramatic of late. And the first 3 are out. Peyton Dixon on the verge of the biggest win of her young career.
Peyton Dixon just trying to find the zone right now. 3 straight balls. That last one was just a little bit high in the zone, but staying composed throughout this last inning, I think, is key for her.
Has battled back to make the count full. And time is called. Roll to the left side. Corby Otis tries to start a Gator rally.
Peyton Dixon getting behind in this at-bat and being forced to throw the ball over the plate a little bit more than she typically would if she was ahead. But a really good at-bat by Corby Otis, just driving this pitch in the 5-6 hole to start the Gators off with hopefully a rally for them.
Gators need 1 more run to bring the tying run to the plate. This time, Dixon deals strike 1.
And if I want anybody to be up in the box right now, I want the SEC RBI leader, Jocelyn Erickson.
Oh, and 2. Look at the top left of your screen. Almost 130 pitches for Dixon. She just eclipsed a season high in pitches thrown. And an 0-2. Two-time Delaware state champion. Erickson got jammed. Sky-high pop-up in back of first. Tribal Piece has got it for the first out.
And a big one by Peyton Dixon, just utilizing that curveball on both sides. Opening up that inside corner for her after that really wide curveball to try to get her to swing on 0-2, but does, and jams her for the first out of the inning.
Gigantic first out. South Florida has lost the last 27 to the Gators. Walsh takes low. There's been some close ones in there. Some 1-0 losses, 2-0 losses. especially during the Georgina Corrick years. Now it's Peyton Dixon's turn, biggest night of her softball life. Walsh to short, second to one, turn to first. An historic night for the South Florida Bulls. They've knocked off the Gators for the first time since 2012.